Office Wife. The story of the girl who married her boss and of the girl who took over. Here is Mr. Tressida Bendigo to begin a further chapter of Office Wife.
All day yesterday, I was running about like a dog chasing its tail. I arrived home early in the morning with my news. That the Bronson girl had been at Daybreak Island at the same time as my niece's husband. And Marcia promptly declared that she was going up there too. I forbade it, but after Benny Puller told me that Bronson was only up north on business, yes, they've signed Pilgrim up on a 3 years contract, actually, well, that put an entirely different complexion on things. So I said to Marcia, go up and join your husband, if you think it's going to do any good. But when we arrived at the aerodrome last night, they told us that all flights for the far north were cancelled. This cyclone that's raging, of course. So Marcia stayed the night here with us, and the girl's not too happy. Come to think of it, I don't feel too darn happy myself. Ah, well, better get downstairs and collect the morning paper. That'll cheer me up. Harriet! You're awake, aren't you? I have some very bad news. I want you to see this newspaper before Marcia.
Oh, really, Tressida? 7:10 and my hair in curlers. What is it?
Something terrible's happened, Harriet, my dear. I want you to prepare yourself. Don't let it be too much of a shock.
Tressida, what's happened? What is it?
Now, here, look. Front page. Jeff Pilgrim's been lost. Drowned. I'd better read it.
Jeff lost? But you don't mean that
It's this cyclone that's raging up the coast. I'll skip the headlines.
Oh, awful. How on earth? Oh, absolutely appalling. Poor little Marcia. Oh, Tressida, let me collect my thoughts.
From what it says here, they were out on a fishing cruiser. Medium-sized launch, I imagine. The barometer was falling, but they went out anyway. The cyclone broke over the island, and that's the last they've seen of the cruiser. There's a list here, 9 chaps, 3 women.
How dreadful. Poor Jeff. Tressida, maybe. Oh, what does it say?
Just a minute. It says here, experienced masters of pearling luggers say no vessel under 100 tons could possibly have survived such a blow, as it was directly away from the island, and the cruiser must have foundered in heavy seas. No hope is held out for any of the 12 having survived.
Oh, one reads of these things. Never seems possible that it should happen to anyone connected with you. Oh, Tressida, I'm stunned. How are we going to break it to Marcia?
Well, no sense in prolonging the agony. Come along, my dear. I'm glad you're here, that's all I can say. Let's get it over and tell her.
Harry Palmer! What on earth are you doing, calling on me at this crack of dawn time? What's up?
Millie, my puppet, you've seen the papers, haven't you?
No, I haven't. There's never anything in them anyway.
There is this morning, Millie. Jeff Pilgrim's been drowned.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yes, see for yourself. Bottom of column 3.
Jeff Pilgrim drowned. Oh, no, not Jeff Pilgrim.
That's what happened, puppet. He went fishing and a cyclone came along and swept him into the deep blue sea. Shocking tragedy, isn't it?
Oh, Harry Palmer, you're glad.
How can you say that? My heart's bleeding for the poor chap. Never to return to Tressida Bendigo and Company, or the arms of his fair Marcia. Tut, tut, tut.
Oh, how can you stand there? You always made out you were a friend of his.
Don't moralize at me, Millie.
Oh.
Actually, you should be appreciating the moral. People who run away from their wives and all that. Still, it is a shame, I suppose.
A shame? Oh, poor Marcia.
Poor Stella Bronson. She carried a torch for the fellow, too. Oh, well, Millie, my little one, it's an little cyclone that blows no good.
As if there's anything good about poor Jeff Pilgrim being drowned. Oh, I know it's silly, but I want to cry.
If you want to cry with vicarious grief, you'll be late for work. You can have a good weep after 5 o'clock. And anyway, what about me?
As though you cared.
But I do care. Deeply.
You're hugging yourself this very minute.
Why, Millie, I've a terribly harrowing day in front of me. I have to go and condole with the sorrowing widow. How do you do, Miss Bendigo? I've called to see Marcia. Am I doing the right thing?
It's very kind of you. Do come in.
Thank you. Please say if you think I'd better wait before seeing her. How's she taking it?
Rather well at the moment, but I don't think it's properly sunk in yet.
What an appalling tragedy, Miss Bendigo.
It's terrible.
I can't quite believe it myself yet. Jeff... I don't want to sound intense, but he was my very best friend. Oh, there's nothing to be said. One doesn't care to get too emotional, and Jeff wouldn't have appreciated it anyway.
I know how you feel, Mr. Palmer. Would you like me to tell Marcia you're here?
If you'd be so kind, Miss Bendigo.
Well, you may as well be comfortable. Sit down. I shan't be more than a moment.
Yes, why not? Yeah. This looks like a nice comfy one. Now, just what are you going to say, Palmer, old boy? You better be careful. Poor old Marcia. Anyway, she's always looked rather fetching in black. Hello, Marcia.
Hello, Harry. Thanks for coming.
Oh, you poor kid. Don't feel you have to say anything unless you want to.
It's all right. I'm still in a sort of daze. I want to cry my eyes out, but I can't even raise a tear.
I know it. It must be ghastly for you. Poor old Jeff.
Please. I was going up to join him last night, did you know? If I'd left 12 hours earlier, it wouldn't have happened.
Oh, Marcia, you mustn't blame yourself.
But if I'd been with him sooner, he wouldn't have been out on that boat.
I don't know. You can't be sure. There's no sense in tormenting yourself.
But I do know. I hate fishing, and Jeff wouldn't have even been on the boat. Oh, Harry, it's awful.
There. Don't let yourself go. You've a horrible few weeks in front of you, Marcia, and all you can do is keep your chin up. Will you promise me something?
What?
Well, if there's anything I can do, absolutely anything, you'll call on me, won't you?
All right. It's very kind of you, Harry.
Well, if I couldn't rally round at a time like this, who would you turn to? Oh, one's family, I know, but sometimes there's something more to be had from a friend. That's right, isn't it?
I suppose so.
Now, I won't stay any longer. I guess you want to work it out by yourself.
You don't have to run away.
Well, I'd better be getting back to the office. All I can do for you now is talk. But don't forget, time passes, you know, and Marcia, Jeff wasn't the only one who loved you. Perhaps later... But I'm a rotter even to mention it now. Goodbye, Les. Bear up.
Goodbye, Harry.
Hello, Stella. I didn't expect to see you here today.
I'm having one drink by myself. To Geoffrey Adrian Pilgrim. The nicest guy I ever knew. And if you say one word, I'll burst into tears, so shut up and leave me alone.
Well, if you're drinking to Jeff, you better let me join you.
Just one.
Just one.
But you're not grieving, are you? That I couldn't believe.
Oh, I was very fond of the guy. He got in my way a bit, but what was that?
You've no opposition now, have you? None at the firm and none with Marcia. What do you consider a decent interval before you start wooing, Harry? You can be frank. I won't tell on you.
Well, in that case, I'd say about 6 months.
You can see yourself in Percy Fleming's office this minute, can't you?
You said I could be frank. Actually, darling, I can see myself chairman of the board. Old Tressida won't live forever. Marcia will be Mrs. Harry Jefferson Palmer. I might even reinstate you in my firm, Stella.
You're quite a heel, aren't you? Tell me, why does talking to you make me feel better about Jeff?
I'll look up my Havelock Ellis on the subject for you.
No, I think it's because... No, I won't tell you.
Oh, go on, do.
Wasn't there some mention of a drink? Mine's a double martini.
Double, eh? You were twice as fond of Geoffrey as I thought. Hi, Charlie. Double martini and scotch and soda. But I wish you wouldn't be cryptic, Stella.
It's very simple, really. Jeff getting himself drowned is too perfect for you. Things simply don't happen that way.
But, Petal, they have. Jeff could always have pushed me into the background at TB and Company's. But just so long as he was married to Marcia, and she was still keen on him...
He was coming to work with Pullers.
Doesn't make any difference. He could always come back to Bendigo's, no matter how many contracts he signed with Puller. Oh, but now here's to Jeff, the most obliging guy that ever walked.
May I be corny, please?
As corny as you like, my dear.
Don't count your chickens before they're hatched.
But mine are hatched, aren't they?
No. I don't think you'll ever marry Marcia, and I don't think you'll get any further with Tressida Bendigo's.
And why not?
Because I'm absolutely certain that Jeff Pilgrim is still alive.
Now, what's she driving at? Of course, Pilgrim's dead. I'm on top at last, and that's where I'm staying. I'll marry Marcia, and I'll take over her uncle's firm. Of course, Pilgrim's dead. But what if he's not?
We invite you to listen to further episodes of Office Wife, written by L.J. Hardy, a Donovan Joyce production.